Welcome back. Today's video is about when we're going up the Hudson River, and in the Hudson River there comes a point where there's actually a fork in the river. If you go to the right, you go to the Champlain Canal system. If you go to the left, you go to the Erie Canal system. We are going to the Erie Canal system. And as soon as you turn left, going towards the Erie Canal system, you come to the town of Waterford. It's the oldest incorporated village in the United States, by the way. In Waterford, they have what's called a free wall. A free wall means that they're not charging us to tie up to the wall. There is a slight fee, a very reasonable fee, if you want to use electricity. The purpose for Waterford is that it is the beginning of the lock system for the Erie Canal. This particular system, first set of locks, is a series of 5 different locks that raises the boat well over 150 feet into the air. Well, not actually into the air, but up. Once you get to the top, then the gates open and you begin to cruise down the canal to the next lock. And then you'll go through several other locks until you reach actually a nice little lake. But there are like 33 different locks on the Erie Canal. Along the free wall is a very popular area. Citizens like to hang out there. There's a lot going on. You have farmers markets, things of that nature. All around Waterford, you'll see statues of mules. The reason for the statues of mules is they use the mules to pull the barges on the Erie Canal. And those mules were typically led by young boys. The boys were anywhere between 10 and maybe 13, 14 years old. The boys would work. They'd pull the mules for about 8 to 10 hours a day. And then after they were done pulling the barges, then it was their responsibility to take care of the mules. So they were putting in anywhere from 10 to 14-hour days, or maybe even longer. This area, again, is a very popular area where people like to hang out. There's bands quite often, and there's also many gatherings. In this particular photo here, we have a gathering of bloopers. And what we're doing is we meet at 5 o'clock to discuss what's coming up, what the plans are, share experiences, things of that nature. In Waterford, there are a couple different trails. New York has quite a trail system. This happens to be the Canal Way Trail. And this trail, it actually go up the path and you'll pass another donkey. And if you go to the right, you go along the second expansion of the Erie Canal. And the path that we're actually walking on along the fence was actually a path that was used by the mules. The construction of the canal was quite a feat, particularly at that time. Many people considered the job not being able to be done, but thanks to Yankee ingenuity, when there was a hardship or some type of a challenge, we figured it out. Notice how big these blocks are. These things are huge. I'm curious how they formed these huge blocks. How did they set them? And if you look at the cracks real close, there's no mortar. They're all stacked one on top of the other. And those blocks have been there for many, many years. This section here is part of the section of the original Erie Canal and part of one of the original lock systems. The Erie Canal passes under several bridges and is quite remarkable in its making. This particular trail ends at the Hugh White Homestead Museum. Now, this museum is an interesting museum to go to. You need to be sure to plan ahead because it is not open 7 days a week. It's manned by volunteers, and so the days that it's open are limited. Typically weekends it's open, but you better check and make sure. So this is Waterford. I hope you enjoyed taking a look at the video. I hope you find it interesting. If you do, please subscribe and like my YouTube page, and may all your trails be calm.